So give me just a moment. If it look like I can't see, is that I can't? Like my glasses are useless this on my computer screen. I don't know why, but
Okay, I was yeah,
um,
because you were squinting. I'm like, is she?
yeah, because I'm looking at like my phone is my Zoom here, and then I'm having to operate the radio station through my computer.
Okay, okay. And I'm gonna work on changing my background. Um, let's be able to do that through settings. I may pop out for a second and come back in.
Okay, and I need to go back. Close that. Okay. Good morning, everyone on Facebook. We're getting ready for our show in just a moment, so please stay tuned. My guest will be right with us. I'm your host, Kalila Jones, and I'm happy to be back. I do have a guest this morning. He will be joining us in just a moment.
You know.
Okay, so my guest is back. We are live on Facebook. How are you doing, Mr.
Hey,
Brian?
I'm great. How are you?
All right, and so we're going to be going live on the air in just a moment. So, just letting everyone know that I'm happy to be back. I've been off for like a week and a half, and so it's time to get back in the grind, get back on the grind.
Oh yeah, a week and a half off. I think I had 2 days. Must be
Well,
nice.
it was unfortunate, but it
Oh,
was
are you?
necessary.
Oh, okay.
But I'm back. We're back. Kaylee K is back. So to everyone out there listening, we're back on our regular schedule. Election season is over. So please, if you would like to be a guest on the show, give me a call. We're doing every show via Zoom. So I hope that those accommodations work for you. And so we have a few moments before we go live on air. I'm excited for Mr. Brian to share some updates about what's happening at the Mosaic Templar. I know we're going to be talking about one thing in particular, and I didn't ask you about this. Are you all going to do anything for Kwanzaa as well?
Yeah, we do. We have a really interesting um, plan for Kwanzaa. Um, and at the risk of repeating it for your Facebook audience, I will, tell you. So what we're going to do is we found seven
Well,
families.
I'll tell you what, hold that because we're
Okay.
going to get ready to go on air in a little bit. So
Okay.
I just wanted to ask about that. I'm kind of disappointed this year that, Kwanzaa is about the community gathering and
Right.
celebration of it all.
Right.
And we're not going to be able to have the big community dinner that we usually have. And, I had all these elaborate plans, but, God and the universe and whatever else said, no.
Yeah.
So, all right. So hold on for just a minute and we're going to get ready to go live on air. So, everyone listening on Facebook, please hold tight. We got about 20 seconds before we go live. If you have any questions or comments, you can drop them in our Facebook live feed, and we'll be happy to, get those answered, address those. And if you have any questions for Mr. Brian directly, we'll make sure to get you his contact information. And if you're going to be in the Little Rock area, have family, you can send them over to the Mosaic Templar. Hold on. Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday to you. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Yes, we are back on air. I apologize, it's been a long week and a half. Just dealing with some personal illness and things of that nature, but we are back. All right, so today my special guest is Mr. Brian Rodgers from the Mosaic Templar in Little Rock, Arkansas. He's the community I'm so sorry, I just lost that second word.
Community relations liaison.
Community relations liaison. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you? I'm so
Um,
excited to be back with you guys and share a little bit about what the museum is doing. And yeah.
all right. So the last time we caught up, it was back in the summer, and you all were getting ready for Juneteenth. And so, of course, we know everything had to be pretty much virtual due to the rise of COVID at that time. So please give us a recap of what that was like, and then we can get into what you all are planning now.
Okay. So Juneteenth was amazing this year. I mean, short of the craziness of planning it in a couple of weeks and doing everything virtually. I mean, once we got everything together, it was amazing. We did a 2 hour, 2.5, 3 hour show virtually. We had over 20,000 views from people
Wow.
all over the world. We had views from South Africa, Japan, and England, and Norway. It was just an amazing show. And we had our headline artist was the legendary Clark sisters. And so that drove a lot of the traffic. People wanted to see the Clark sisters. And it was great to sit in the chat room and to see what people were saying about the show in real time. Normally, we don't get to do that when it's an actual Juneteenth in
That's
person.
amazing.
If it's
Absolutely
a
amazing. So, looking at how things went and how well things went, oh,
are we delayed? Is that what's going on?
there was a little breakup. I'm sorry.
No, no,
Yes.
you're fine. You're fine. No,
Okay. So,
I was just saying that having it virtually, we were able to get feedback real time. And normally in a
okay.
real, a real life event, you're not able to do that. And so we were able to kind of adjust on the fly to some things and respond and react to what people were looking for and what they were wanting.
That's awesome. So, looking at how things were during that time, and we still don't know the state of the union. We won't know the state of the union next summer. Are you already kind of in plan mode of looking at a hybrid system, semi virtual, semi in person kind of, or are you laying out a contingency plan for either or?
Yeah, yeah, that's what we've been discussing. Um, and as a matter of fact, as soon as Juneteenth was over in 2020, we took a couple of days and kind of decompressed. And then we started talking about, well, hey, this worked so well. Um, Even if we are able to go back to um, our in-person event, we still should live stream the actual event that's happening outside so that we can draw a bigger audience. And that's the thing that I'm really excited about. Going virtual gives us the opportunity to engage people that we wouldn't normally engage. If it
Okay.
wasn't for doing a virtual Juneteenth, I don't know how many people from Jonesboro would have driven down to see our
Right.
Juneteenth. But having it virtually, people from your area was able to see it as it was happening. And so, that gives us an opportunity to reach more people.
That's awesome. So moving forward, you have had well, one, have you had any events, virtual or otherwise, over the fall?
Yeah, we had an exhibit opening which was virtual. That was a first for us. We had never done anything like that. There's an exhibit called "We Hold These Truths," and it's a photographic exhibit of Black veterans from Arkansas,
Oh, wow.
and the artist, the photographer Ed Drew, uses one of the very earliest forms of photography called tintype to take
Hmm.
the pictures. And so, if you've ever seen any images from the Civil War, then those were 90% chance they were tintype photographs.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
it's just the photographic process that they use. And so, he used that to take pictures of these veterans from the state of Arkansas. So we did that as an opening. We had a conversation with Ed that was part of that. And then for Veterans Day, we did a Veterans Day event where we put together a video and then premiered it on our Facebook Live and YouTube pages. So that's kind of where we are with doing events because, we can't stop. Can't stop. The stories that we tell here are so important that we can't even allow a global pandemic to stop us from doing what we do here.
That's right. There's so much rich history at the Mosaic Templar, Arkansas history, Arkansas Black history at the Mosaic Templar. And so we encourage everyone, go ahead and give them that website where
Yeah.
they can check you all out.
So the website is mosaictemplarcenter.com, and that will also get you the links to all of our social media, uh, and you can access information about the museum. It gives you contact information, everything. So you can get in touch with us there, or you can just call us at 501-683-3593.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so now we're past Thanksgiving. We're moving into the Christmas holiday. I know some people who are just they've been ready to put up the tree since October. And so tell us
Yeah.
what you all have planned for the Christmas holiday.
Okay, so in a normal year, we would have two holiday events. Well, actually, three. Um, we start out doing a toy drive. We work with Say McIntosh's Stop the Violence movement, and we do a toy drive. Well, we're still doing that in conjunction with Central Arkansas Library System. Um, and then we also do a holiday open house, which features our Say and a Say sweet potato pie competition. Uh,
Oh,
this this would have been our 11th year, but we didn't get to do it this year because of the pandemic, and we just didn't want to risk having 200 or 300 people in the ballroom, everybody walking around eating sweet potato pie and talking. We would have done that, and then later the following week, we would have done our newest holiday event, which is called Cocoa and Carols, and it's a day for the kids. They get to
okay.
come to the museum. They get to eat Christmas cookies and drink hot chocolate. We do a cookie decorating demonstration, and Black Santa's here for the kids to take pictures with. Well, again, the pandemic stopped that. So we said, how can we give people the feel of the sweet potato pie competition and Cocoa and Carols? Well, what we did this year was we created a hybrid event of that's kind of the best of both of them, and it's called A Very Merry MTCC Holiday Special.
Okay.
So it's modeled after a 1970s, 1980s Christmas variety show. And so we have music, um, we still have the cookie decorating demonstration. We have a sweet potato pie. Um, there's this guy out of Conway named Marvin Williams. He's known as the singing chef. He does a lot of stuff on Facebook. And so we got him to create, to make a sweet potato pie on video. And so that's a part of it. And we put out a call for letters to Santa, and so Santa came in with a couple of elves and read some letters and talked to some kids directly through the camera. And the whole thing is hosted by Mrs. Claus. And so that will premiere this Sunday at 6 p.m. I think it's 6 p.m. Let me check. 5 p.m. on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. So that's going to be a really cool special. I got some really good artists. Like I mentioned, Santa, Mrs. Claus is going to read a book. Our partner, Cows, is going to do a craft for kids. So it's just going to be a really fun event that we're doing virtually for people to kind of continue with our tradition of having holiday events for the community.
That's going to be very. I am definitely going to make time to tune in this Sunday, 5 o'clock,
Five
on the
o'clock.
Mosaic Templars Facebook page.
And
So,
our YouTube page.
huh?
And our YouTube page.
And the YouTube. Okay, so everyone, please, please check that out. You know, after church, you sit around with your family. You want something fun and interactive to do, and maybe buy your own cookies and decorate while you're
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
the
definitely.
show.
Or, you may want to grab a sweet potato pie and, act like pretend you're at the sweet potato pie competition. Um, there are lots of things that you can do. And you can even start a watch party and talk with your friends while you guys are watching it. And I will be um, in our chat room and interacting with people as they watch the event. So we're going to have a good time that night. It's going to be fun.
All right. I want to say good morning to Miss Linda Johnson Frazier, who says good morning, and to everyone else that is watching and listening. So, no matter where you are in the world, you can take part in this event coming up this coming Sunday at 5 o'clock. And please tell us the name of that event again.
It's called a Very Merry MTCC Holiday Special.
Okay.
We kind of did it. We kind of wanted to make it a little cheesy just to fit in that whole 1970s, 1980s Christmas special kind of mood. Like when we were getting ready to put this together, I had the task of watching a bunch of those, and um, there's Christmas with lamb chopping sherry, and Christmas with Dean Martin, and Christmas with the California raisins. So I
Oh,
watched a
wow.
bunch of those old Christmas specials to kind of get the feel for what they were doing, so we could kind of model our event based on that. And it's really, I've seen um, the final cut of it, and it's really good. Our production team did a really good job of putting it together and making it seem like it's kind of uh, in that style of that 70s and 80s variety show. Makes me kind of want to do a monthly Mosaic variety show. But, we'll see how that goes.
And I'm sure there's a wealth of talent right there in Central Arkansas. You would never um, be stuck trying to find someone to fill a spot.
Not just in Central Arkansas, because with it being video, um, we can get video from anybody around the state. We can have them produce their video and email it to us, and we can just splice it right into what we're doing. So that's the beauty of having to do things with video now, because everybody has a video camera on their cell phone, which are better than some of the actual video cameras. So, we can do a lot of cool things now because of the advances in technology.
So I guess, and I'm not trying to put a damper on COVID, and dismiss it because it is very serious. However, the plus that I have seen come out of this pandemic is that it is pushing people to be a little more creative,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we're able to connect in a way that we haven't before. Not that the technology didn't exist, we just weren't utilizing it to its best ability.
right.
And
What do
so
they
now
say?
we're having to operate differently.
Yeah, what do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, the fact that we had to figure out ways to continue to do what we do, um, you know, kind of pushed us to say, okay, how far can we push the box this year on what we're doing? We never want to just say, okay, well, we're defeated. We're not going to do it this year. We're going to say, how can we figure out a way to make it work? And
That's
that
right.
kind of brings us to our Kwanzaa even. You and I were talking before we went on air about how Kwanzaa is a community festival. Well, this year, what we've decided to do is um, find 7 families in the community and live stream their Kwanzaa, one of their nights of Kwanzaa on our Facebook page. So it may be a certain family on the first night, second night a different family, third night a different family, just to kind of see for people to get a feel of how people in the community are celebrating Kwanzaa. I mean, because I have to be honest, before I started working here, Kwanzaa was not on my radar at all. It was not something that my family ever celebrated. But now that I'm here at the museum, I look forward to celebrating Kwanzaa because I have a better understanding of what it is and why it's important and why it's special. And I think we need to do a better job of teaching our children why this holiday matters.
I'm glad you said that. Before I started with the radio station, Kwanzaa wasn't, again, like you said, on my radar. But now that I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. And I embrace it wholeheartedly. I get excited like a kid on Christmas when I'm planning, Kwanzaa events and
Yeah.
things. Again, this year I got a little down on my spirit and I haven't been as excited.
Well, you can have our
However,
idea. You can use our idea.
because I have a few things lined up, well, outlined. It's just a matter of trying to get them executed. So, but I'm definitely going to incorporate that your idea, or at least make an attempt.
Yeah.
Um, I had some other ideas about getting people in the community to share, their thoughts, and I guess since I haven't really put it out there, I guess I'm putting it out there now. Um, I need your help, community, when it comes to Kwanzaa and highlighting these different principles. So I'll be reaching out to you, community leaders. Y'all better stay tuned. Y'all better answer my phone call or my email. But we have about 3 minutes left in this segment. One thing I want to talk about that's been kind of weighing heavy on me is the spirit of Christmas. Um, I'm hoping through this event, virtual event that you put on, that people take away and embrace the spirit of Christmas. Again, everything looks different. People had to readjust their Thanksgiving plans. People have had to adjust spring break and their summer plans. But I want people to not lose the spirit of Christmas. The joy, the peace, the hope, the love. You can still share that with those that are right around you. It's not about the hundreds of thousands of gifts under the tree. It's about who's
Right.
right there with you.
And I think with the coronavirus and everything that we're dealing with now, I think it's going to make people reevaluate how they view a lot of different things. Um, we aren't able to get together like we would have in the past, but it doesn't mean that I can't use the technology that I have to get together with my family anyway, right? So my family, back in the early spring when everything started to get bad, we all downloaded this app called House Party, which allows, I think it's up to 8 people to chat at one time, video chat at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're all able to, it's like we're at home at my grandma's house with everybody in the living room. There's 3 or 4 different conversations going on at one time. There's crosstalk, and it just feels kind of like it did at grandma's house on any given Sunday afternoon. Even though I'm home, my mom is home, my grandma's at her house, my sister's at her house, my aunts are at their house. It feels like we're all still right there together. And I think with utilizing the technology that exists, we can't be together physically, but we can still get the feel of being together, which is where the spirit of Christmas comes from anyway. It's about sharing that time with your family and loved one, and whether you're doing it, uh, physically or virtually, it's still about loving and being there together. I have a 6-year-old son, and the only thing he asked for Thanksgiving, besides a tofu turkey, which I was like, we don't do that around here. He
Well,
wanted.
we're gonna put a pause. I'm sorry, we're gonna put a pause
Okay.
right there and get ready to go on break. But we'll still be live on Facebook, so I want to hear the rest of this
Okay.
story.
Okay.
All right. So for those of you listening on air, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about more things happening at the Mosaic Templar. But if you want to jump on Facebook and hear the rest of this story about Mr. Brian's son, please join us on our Facebook live feed. But we'll be right back after these announcements. Okay, so go ahead, Mr. Brian.
So Christopher, he's 6, and he had been talking all week about different things that he wanted for Thanksgiving, and he said, "Daddy, can we have a tofu turkey?" And like Black Panther said, we don't do that around here. But then he said the only thing he wanted, since he couldn't have his tofu turkey, was he wanted the entire table filled with food, like on TV, right? And I said, "Who's gonna eat all of this food?" He was like, "I want 40 vegetables. I want a turkey," and he got none of that. We had Cornish game hens and um, maybe 3 different sides, But it was still Thanksgiving. We were still together. We still sat and ate, and then watched cartoons after dinner was over. We played some board games. Just had a good time with just me, him, and his mom. Um, so it was. It still was a holiday. It still felt special, even though we didn't get to make the trip to my grandma's, and I didn't get any um, chocolate cake and banana pudding. It was still the holiday, and I think that's what's important. It frustrates me beyond belief to see people still gathering in these large groups. Um, Look, I get it. Everybody wants to be with their family, but sometimes we have to sacrifice for the future. And by people being selfish and still going out and doing the things that they would normally do pre-pandemic, it's just extending the time that we all have to suffer.
Yes. Hopefully, we'll start to see some light at the end of this tunnel soon at some point. But until then, we need to govern ourselves accordingly and just do what we need to do. It's not about keeping just us safe, it's about everyone else around us. So, would your coworker like to jump in and say hi to the people?
John, this is John. John's part of our curatorial team here at the museum, and it's a Monday morning after a holiday, and we're dragging back in slowly and trying to get back into the swing of things.
Got to get back on the grind, John. Thank
For a couple of
you.
weeks, for a couple of weeks, and then we get Christmas. And
Okay. All right. So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Kwanzaa. Some of my ideas were to do like a lecture series. And I know that
okay,
sounds boring, but not a lecture, college lecture, but um, still a lecture in essence, a
yeah,
discussion.
no, I get it. Like
Uh,
somebody who's engaging and fun, and yeah, like Dr. Branch, she's cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
most definitely. I
Um,
wanted to do something each day, and unfortunately, that's just not possible. I wish I had a production team, a video production team. I'm kind of basic on that.
yeah,
um,
I am too. I learned how to use iMovie Maker during Juneteenth, so that's what I go with. But I'm lucky here in the department. We have excellent production team, and they were able to put together something really really nice for the Christmas special.
I might have to borrow your team for a project once.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure they will do some freelance work if the money's right.
all right. We're getting ready to go back on air in about 10, 15 seconds. So we'll pick up the conversation, talk about Kwanzaa, and then maybe what does 2021 look like for
Okay.
the Mosaic Templar. All right, so stay tuned, stand by. All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with my special guest, Mr. Brian Rodgers from the Mosaic Templar. Okay, is it Templar or Templar? Because I'm just, oh gosh.
So you hear people say Templars, Templars. I just say Mosaic Templars.
Okay.
Uh, it's either or.
All right. And so it is located in Little Rock, Arkansas. It is basically a museum slash community center slash all things wonderful. There's a gift shop there as well. Is the gift shop open right now?
Yes, we are. Um, we're gone cashless during this, so it's debit, credit only. But yeah, we are open. And as a matter of fact,
Okay.
you froze for a second. Um, but what we've done is we've created some special gift packages for the holidays,
Okay.
and actually, our store manager Kelly is part of the Christmas special, and she talks about some of the packages and how people can get them. So tune in Sunday evening at 5
All
for the
right.
Christmas special, and you can learn a little bit more about our store.
Now, is there online shopping options available?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Um, I think we're working on it, but I'm not sure how far along they are and when that'll be.
Okay. Well, let's put that little bug in somebody's
I
ear
will.
because
I will.
since we're not able to travel, well, I don't travel that far. I would
Yeah,
love to have my hands on some Arkansas related or Black history
yeah.
related
We
something.
do. We have a program called Arkansas Made Black Crafted, which is a series of products that are made by Black artisans here in the state, and so we sell a lot of local products made by Black creators here in Arkansas.
Okay. All right. So I want to pick back up talking about Kwanzaa just a little bit. And one thing I want to let people know, Kwanzaa is not a replacement for Christmas or any other holiday. It's actually an extension, if you want to look at it like that. The principles that Kwanzaa incorporates are things that we can actually incorporate in our daily lives 365. Unity, self determination, um, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, and the like, creativity. We can incorporate those ideals and principles into our daily life, like every day, 24/7, 365. So Kwanzaa is not a replacement for any other holiday. It's a celebration, actually, more to me, it's a celebration of family, of togetherness, of community. And that's one thing that both of us do with our respective organizations is try to engage the community and whatever else is happening and with each other. And
Right,
so
right.
I hope people truly embrace what you have to bring, for Kwanzaa, and they start their own family traditions. I love the idea. For those who may have missed it before, tell us, again, the idea that you have for Kwanzaa.
Yeah. Well, pre-pandemic, we would have done a Saturday event um, where we would have brought in people to the museum and we would have celebrated Kwanzaa like that. But since we're in a new world with the pandemic, we're doing it virtually. And each night of Kwanzaa, we're going to have um, a local family, and we're gonna live stream their Kwanzaa celebration at their home. So we're going to incorporate 7 different families from around the community, and we'll live stream them celebrating Kwanzaa at their house so people can see how they celebrate Kwanzaa. I mean, because not everyone celebrates, and not everyone who celebrates the same. So it'll give people an opportunity to see how are other people celebrating Kwanzaa. And even if you don't celebrate Kwanzaa, it'll give you an opportunity to see what it actually is that people are doing, and you may want to do it in the future. Not everybody
Okay.
has a Kanara, not everybody does all of the Harvest Festival event, but it's something that is worth learning about. And it's interesting because I talk about Christopher, my 6-year-old, a lot, but he's really getting into wanting to know about different celebrations and different things. He watches a lot of shows on TV and they talk about this stuff, and then he wants to do it. He wanted to celebrate the winter solstice last year, so we celebrated the winter solstice. We went out on winter solstice, and we built a fire, and we uh, made hot chocolate, and we poured hot chocolate into the fire to represent whatever it's supposed to represent. And we just had a nice little evening, and then we went inside and warmed up because it was cold. But
Right.
so experiencing these age-old celebrations like the solstice and like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and even some of the newer ones like Kwanzaa, experiencing them through the eyes of a 6-year-old is totally different. And it kind of gives me a different perspective on looking at these celebrations, right? I had heard about winter solstice, but it's not something I'd ever wanted to just go out and do. But him wanting to do it, I'm like, all right, well, let's see what we can do. So then I
Okay.
had to I had to go and read about winter solstice and how it's celebrated so that I could create something for us to do. So kind of gave me a new perspective on that too. And so with him, we're going to do some Kwanzaa stuff because he wants to learn about all these different things.
That's amazing. You give me more ideas. Maybe not for this year, but maybe for next year. Incorporating children more into what children, let's just say under 18, incorporating them more into the planning, and two, the carrying out of the activities. I think the younger that we engage our young people in our community, going back to that community aspect of everything, the younger we engage our children, I think the more ingrained these different celebrations will be in them. Of course, when they become adults, they can choose to not do or do whatever. But
Yeah, but
I
we don't
think
lose them. We don't lose the traditions if we give them to our kids early, right? And I think that part of the issue with our community is that at some point things that were important to our community were lost along the way. You know, people stopped celebrating and people stopped doing certain things that were kind of indicative of our community and our culture. And we lost some of that stuff.
yes, I'm glad you said that. It's like I understand that, especially here in America, we are a mixed bunch of people. There's no one distinct culture. However, those of us who would like to still embrace our roots and where we come from, it's okay. And I'm glad that we still have the opportunity now, of course, with the internet. We have access to information we might not have had access to otherwise. Um, and many, many years ago, there was usually oral stories
Right.
because someone didn't know how to write, or there were, and please help me out with, I want to say pictographs. Stories were told,
Hieroglyphics.
huh?
Are you talking about hieroglyphics?
Yes, Lord. Long story.
Well, it's kind of like that's where the tradition of the griot comes from. The griot was the community storyteller, right? They were the keeper of the community history before, when we had a pre-literate, uh, civilization. Before people started writing things down, the griot was the keeper of the history. And what you see in Black communities now, even now, is that a lot of our history is still oral histories, right? There aren't a lot of documented evidence of things that happened in the Black community. We know they happened, but an academic can't, go through, 100-year-old documents and find something that corroborates the stories that we know to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the projects that I was working on pre-COVID was doing like a storytelling session. Um, we were going to do it here where we just had people from the community just come in and tell stories. And that's something that we could do virtually, but I think storytelling, you kind of want that interaction from the crowd. You know.
You mentioned Dr. Sharice Jones Branch, who's actually Dean Dr.
Yes,
Sharice
Dean
Jones Branch
Doctor
now.
Jones Branch. Yes.
She has been instrumental in collecting history all over Arkansas. For someone who's not a native Arkansan, she has been wonderful in collecting those untold stories, those hidden gems from rural Arkansas, especially
Yeah.
for of Black women in rural Arkansas. And it's just amazing the story she has been able to uncover and bring to life. And, she's been able to write a book and co author books and, you
Yeah.
know, um, things of that nature. So,
Well,
it's,
my academic background is actually history. I have a bachelor's and a master's in history, and
oh,
so I've been working on telling the stories of Black churches in Central Arkansas and how they helped kind of spur the development of the Black community in the city, and how they were, you know, both politically and economically involved in the way people's lives developed over the last, 150, 200 years in the city and the state. So that's what I've been working on, in addition to, different people, different Black people telling those untold stories, right? That's the thing. There's so many untold stories in the Black community that we need to tell. And so, you don't even have to have a degree in history to tell these stories, right? It's just
mm-hmm.
about making sure that you're documenting things. And even if you got the story from somebody else, making sure you document it. Like I wrote a story for the museum blog um, last month about the color paint blue, which kind of made its way over from South Carolina and kind of started with the Gullah Geechee people. There's these different shades of blue that are supposed to deter haints, which are like ghosting spirits. And so it's those stories. So I was able to tell some of the stories that my great grandfather used to tell us growing up
Wow.
about, you know, about running from ghosts and different things like that. That's a part of who we are. I argued in undergrad that African American culture started even before the first enslaved people got off the boat, right? It's when they put all these different tribes together into these one area and they had to learn how to communicate and how to live together. I argue that that's when African American culture first began. So back in the 1600s is when African American culture began, because people had to learn to communicate, to live together, and to function together.
Wow. I never thought about it like that. That's a really great concept. Um, and again, segue back to the Mosaic Templar. This is why our history is so important. Arkansas history, Black history, period.
Yeah.
So please visit the website. Give people the website again so they can visit.
www. I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
www.mosaictemplarcenter.com. The website is open 24 hours a day. We have photographs. You can see things that we're doing. You can even see our plan for the future of the museum. And so, all those things that are going on, you can see. It has links to our Facebook page, which you can see some of our videos that we're doing on Facebook and different things like that.
All right. And so, do you ever have opportunities for people to submit ideas to you? Maybe some mini, okay, displays or mini, okay, with the museum here at the college at
Uh-huh.
Arkansas State University. Sometimes they have, and I don't want to call it digital, online only. Oh gosh, help me out, please.
Exhibits?
Exhibits, online only exhibits, and they're up for several months, so
Hmm.
people can read the stories and see the pictures at their leisure.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so,
that's an interesting concept. Um, we used to have what we called a community case
mhm.
that was for people from the community who wanted to display things. But we just got a new curator, maybe at the beginning of the month, mid month. I can't. I think she's been here for a few weeks now. But I'll pass that idea along to her about about like a virtual only exhibit that deals with things from the community. That's really interesting. That's an interesting concept. I don't think I'd ever thought about something like that, but it is interesting.
I mean, there's I bet that we could take. I say we. I'm throwing myself in the pro. I bet that if you look at every city in Arkansas, there will be one, or two hidden gem stories that people that may have lived there all their life may have never heard of.
Oh, I bet you there's
Or
more than that. I bet you there's more than two or three per city. Like I bet you there are tons of stories that people don't know. Family stories, neighborhood stories, and with the technology that's available now, you could put together a website. I mean, you could put together an exhibit on some of the some of the exhibit websites like a Mecca, and and have something up in a matter of a couple of days that would that could last for several weeks, and people could see it. Then you take it down and start over because it's all about pictures and text now. Right? You don't have to actually have the artifact online for it to be meaningful.
okay.
And so I'm definitely going to tell Courtney about that idea, and that may be something that she incorporates into, the future of the museum and what we're headed.
And maybe, future, and I'm putting this out there 3, 5, whatever years down the road. Definitely creating those archives of oral history, having the
Yeah,
video of the
right.
people. I totally believe in honoring your elders while they're alive and having some recording of them, hearing their voice and seeing their face while they're telling these stories. And I'm I haven't always been in this space in my life, but I'm here now. And I just want to share that with everyone. And I want our young people to realize we have such a rich history. And I want to say this for people who feel that I always talk about Black this, Black that. Other ethnic groups can embrace and learn and enjoy our culture. Well, let me be careful with that. They can learn about our culture and learn more about who we are. I think the more we learn about each other, the more we can move from just tolerating each other and accepting each other. I really don't
Yeah,
like the word tolerate.
right. I agree
Um,
with you. Interesting. One of the things about African culture, African society, is the fact that the ancestors were so highly celebrated, and ancestor veneration was a big thing, and that's one of those things that we lost in the move from uh, Africa to North America is that idea of those who came before me matter in my life, even though I may have never met them. Um, we kind of lost it.
That's right. I try to hold to this ideal of I am my ancestors' wildest dream. And so I take that with me to be the best version of myself every day. Again, haven't always been here in my life, made some missteps, but every day I strive to do better. And I try to impart that onto everyone else that I meet, and especially young people. I just want to grab all of them and just love on them and
Yeah.
educate them, and empower them. Um, so anyway, I'm not going to get into this sappy soapbox today, but I just wanted to definitely thank you for all the wonderful work that you all do at the Templar, in the community, the education and enrichment programs that you bring. But we're going to give or take another quick break from the
Okay.
air. We will continue our conversation on Facebook. For those of you listening, I know this has been we've gone in different directions, but we're going to bring it back around because we want to remind you again of the event that's happening Sunday online. But stay tuned and we'll be right back after these announcements. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just going on a tangent this morning.
Nah, I'll go, and I'll go.
My degree is in sociology,
Uh-huh.
but um, history is, fascinating. It's always been
Right.
fascinating to me. But I feel like with my degree in sociology, I can find a way to help bring people and things together. I don't know. I just have this love for bringing people and things together. Um, some people tell me I'm this natural born connector, networker of sorts.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, what is sociology, right? You think about it, you're doing sociological studies today, and 10 years from now, that's history. You know,
Mhm.
you're studying history as it occurs. Um, so I think that working, kind of looking at um, groups of people and how they interact and do things um, in the present is sociology, and in the past is history. So I think those two disciplines are kind of go together, work together.
And that's what I love. And it's almost it ties in anthropology a little into that. Basically, learning how groups of people maneuver,
Yeah.
how they operate in their small and larger spaces, and
Right.
then how all of those pieces make a whole community work. And then, so from the community to the city to the state to the, expanding outward. So, but I'm trying not to get overwhelmed and add too many pieces to my puzzle and just stick to a smaller.
Sometimes you just have to go where it leads you, wherever the research, wherever the writing, wherever the article leads, you just kind of have to go there.
I'm always reading, studying something. Like I was listening to someone speak yesterday, and they said you will always be a student. Like you're
Yes.
always a student in life. Well, you
Yeah.
should always be a student in
I was
life.
watching. Sometimes I get in these YouTube loops, and I ended up watching a video about the evolution of the written word and how the alphabet has changed from Egyptian hieroglyphics to the Latin script that we use today, and how the different sounds of the letters have changed, and how we dropped letters and added letters, and uh, letters have split into. It was really fascinating, and I'm gonna
Wow.
go back and watch it again because I really want to get a good feel of it because it's kind of the written word is how we communicate, and so having an understanding of how we got from where we were to where we are now is important, at least to me. It is. I'm
Yeah.
sure my sisters don't care, but to me, it's important.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Mr. Brian, I can't thank you enough. This conversation has been all over the place, but at the same time, it's been wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us this morning, sharing information about the Mosaic Templar, history, and everything in between. But we want to come back down to earth and talk about the big event that's happening this
Okay.
coming Sunday.
Sunday, December 6th at 5 p.m. I think it's December 6th. Is that Sunday? Yeah, anyway, Sunday, I'm going to look at my calendar. Sunday at 5 p.m., we will have, nope, yeah, we have our Very Merry MTCC Holiday Special, which is our holiday event in the time of COVID. It's a combination of our sweet potato pie competition, holiday open house, and our Cocoa and Carols event. We'll have, it's hosted by Mrs. Claus. There'll be Black Santa reading a few letters. We're going to have a cookie decorating demonstration, a pie making demonstration. There's going to be music. There's a tribute to Say McIntosh. There is a craft by Central Arkansas Library System. So there's going to be a lot to watch, a lot to take in, and some things for you to do at home. So, grab your friends, create a watch party, get some snacks, get some pie, and just, sit and celebrate the beginning of the holiday season with us.
And look, this would be the perfect time to look, like you said, get cocoa, get some cookies to
Yeah,
decorate,
yeah.
make your own sweet potato pie. People
You
might be
know,
tired of sweet potato pie though, but
turn the Temptations on in the background, listen to the Temptations sing Silent Night, and just have a good time.
now, while I am embracing the spirit of Christmas, I'm not anti Christmas music, but I'm not Christmas music before Christmas. I'm just like, can we pause just a little bit?
As soon as Thanksgiving is over, once the turkey goes in the refrigerator, it's time to start playing the Christmas music.
Oh God. Okay.
But yeah,
um
you can see our event, a Very Merry MTCC Holiday Special, on our Facebook page at Mosaic Templars, and on our YouTube page, Mosaic Templars something something.
so make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel and hit the notification bell
Yeah,
so you
because we're
so
gonna
you
have
don't.
lots more content coming.
Okay. Make sure to visit the website, look for upcoming events, exhibits, and things of that nature. Um, are there still pictures available of the veterans
Yes,
exhibit that?
the
Okay.
exhibit is still up. I'm not sure. Our veterans event is still on our Facebook page and YouTube. Um, and I'm not sure if we're planning to do anything virtually. Oh yeah, we are in February in Black History Month. There's going to be another conversation with the artist, so you can tune in for that. And I will make sure that we start to email you guys press release and let you know everything that's coming up. And it's always my pleasure to be on here with you and to have these conversations with you. So um, don't think that I have to call you to be on the show. You know my contact. You can email me and say, hey, come do the show. So keep that in
I
mind.
tell you what, can we make a deal once a month?
Yeah,
You
we
just
can
be a
do that.
guest on our show.
We can do that. We
All
can
right,
do that.
so we will get that worked out once we get off air. But stay tuned, everyone. Mr. Brian will become a permanent fixture. As long as he will agree to it, as long as he'll do it, he'll be a permanent fixture once a month on the community conversation. So thank you so much for that. Because there's so much to cover that we just can't get through it all,
Right.
sometimes in 1 hour. We need extra time. And so I think a monthly update would be wonderful
Yeah,
to
I
let
think so.
people know what's happening.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
All right. And so again, this Sunday, 5 o'clock, don't miss it. Get your family, your friends, start a watch party. You don't have to leave your house. Get your cozy slippers and whatever else you want to put on and watch a very merry MTCC Christmas. um, it's and so tell them again, what the I guess the theme or the feel of
Okay.
the
Yeah,
event would be like.
it's a 1970s, 1980s Christmas variety show. So there's there's singing and different other things, kind of like just like lamb chopping Sherry's Christmas. Just
That's a throwback.
yeah, you'll really. I've seen the final. You'll really enjoy it. It's a really good, well done event. Um, Mrs. Claus is our host. She reads a book. Uh, library time with Mrs. Claus. Santa's here. He reads a couple of letters. We have you know 3 or 4 different musical performances. So it's going to be a really fun evening.
All right, awesome. Well, Mr. Brian, thank you so much. And again, stay tuned for some events coming up for Kwanzaa. So Christmas is December 25th. Kwanzaa starts December 26th to January the 1st. There's 7 principles. You have something wonderful planned with 7 different families. And so people, please tune in, share your thoughts, your comments, um, encouraging words, whatever. And hopefully, next year we can collaborate on some things.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Now that we're kind of getting our feet wet with this virtual setup here, and hopefully we can collaborate with your production team as well
Yeah, I'll
to
let
get
them
some
know.
things going.
Well, it's been
So,
fun, and I can't wait for Sunday. And I hope to see some of your people in the chat room. And I'll be asking people, where you from? How'd you hear about it? So just to see what's going on.
all right. So, Jonesboro, you've been challenged to check in, um, and let show the Mosaic Templar some love on that day. Thank you all for joining us for Community Conversations. I've been your host, Kabila Jones, my special guest, Mr. Brian Rodgers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope everyone has a great and blessed day. We will be back tomorrow with, let me pull up my calendar. Ooh, okay, well, don't have it on my calendar right now. Sorry. But we will be back tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great and blessed day. Thank you, Mr. Brian.
Thank you.
All right. So, hold on. We're still live on Facebook. So let me close that. um, so, I can't thank you enough. This has been a very enriching conversation, one that I needed.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
it's been good, been fun.
All right. So, unfortunately, somebody's car. Can you hear? Can you hear that car alarm in the background?
No, I can't.
That's a good thing.